you marching in support of women to have gun rights to choose whatever gun she wants to protect herself with?
I think we need much more gun control.
So you're not fighting for women's rights?
I think guns shouldn't even be allowed in people's hands other than police force and military.
All right. Do you think there's a police brutality problem in America?
Yes.
We're here at the Women's March in Washington, D.C., where tons of women are so concerned about their rights. Let's go see if they are concerned about their Second Amendment right, their right to self-defense. Sign is very interesting, caught my attention right away. What does it mean for you?
Well, I mean, I think when people say, or when people hear gun control, they instantly think they're going to take away our right to defend ourselves, and that's not what the majority of people who want gun control want. Okay. Most people have a very moderate stance. They don't think military-grade weapons should be on the street, okay. And no American needs a semi-automatic rifle, unless they're in combat, and so it's really just. To me, this means that, yes, we have a right to protect ourselves, but we don't need military-grade weapons in residential areas where they can be in schools and churches and just devastate people.
What is a military-grade weapon?
Semi-automatic rifles, grenades, all kinds of stuff. I'm not a gun expert, but...
Yeah, you're not a gun expert, and I want to tell you why, because the military does not use semi-automatic weapons. They use machine guns that are fully automatic weapons, and those have been banned for decades in this country. So the handgun I carry every day for self-defense is semi-automatic. An AR-15, a semi-automatic rifle, fires at the same rate as a handgun. So I agree with you, you're not an expert. Does that new information maybe give you a little bit more perspective that I gotta learn a little bit more before I advocate for gun control?
We have to be somewhere, thank you.
She has to be in the library learning what an AR-15 is. When I read this, I think, oh, hands off our rights. I'm thinking, get off of our gun rights. We want to be able to protect ourselves as women.
This has nothing to do with so-called gun rights.
So-called?
Yes, the Second Amendment has been badly misconstrued by our Supreme Court. It has everything to do with the rights of militias during revolutionary times.
But Roe v. Wade fits into the Fourth Amendment somehow, right?
Yes, Roe v. Wade is an implied right. So who exactly are you with?
So Roe v. Wade is an implied right, but the expression of shall not be infringed, that's outdated.
You know, I'm not going to debate you here because I want to get to the march.
I wouldn't debate me either.
Are you a lawyer?
Might be.
Really? I am.
And you're telling us the Second Amendment is outdated.
I'm not telling you the Second Amendment is outdated. I'm telling you that our Supreme Court has severely misconstrued the Second Amendment.
But they haven't misconstrued Roe v. Wade.
Do you believe that we all have a right to a tank?
Yes.
You do?
Nuclear weapons, everything.
Really?
And you don't have the right to kill someone else.
You have a nuclear weapon in your garage.
I am allowed to do that, yes.
Yeah, well, I'm a believer in an orderly, lawful society. And
you believe in
say, yes, I do believe in reproductive rights. So this conversation
stop touching me. Stop.
Okay,
it's about consent. Don't touch me.
Sorry. Okay, fine. I won't touch you. You don't talk to me. Okay.
Dab it on him.
You should get a shot of over there and have your background over there to see how many people are here.
Oh, this is the fewer. So out of all the marches for the past 3 years, this is the least attended one.
I don't know that for a fact, but like
they said it. The Women's March said it.
Your background is facing that way, and there's no one over there.
Well, you're very attentive.
So I think you should really get the.
Hey, Justin, will you hand him the camera? He knows better than you do. You do this for a living?
No, I'm just saying that you can see more people, and your audience should see how many people are actually here, not just like where nobody is. It's just a wrong perception of how many people are here.
And real quick, guys, don't forget, go to patreon.com/Caitlin Bennett to support my work. Keep me coming out here and exposing these radical leftists. What are you here supporting today?
I'm supporting women. I'm out here supporting women's rights and what they're advocating for, so I'm not really threatened by women empowerment so that's what I'm supporting.
Don't know why you should be, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, are you here supporting women's right to self-defense?
Self-defense?
Gun rights for women?
No. I mean, I'm not here to support gun rights. That's not why I'm here. I'm here just.
You said women's rights. Women's rights or gun rights?
I don't know how many women here are pro-gun or pro-Second Amendment, but
Does that bother you?
That's not the primary reason I'm here.
Okay.
Not really. I respect all people's views, so.
Okay. You're a woman. Do you care about your right to self-defense with a firearm?
Oh, thank you. I care about women's rights and what they want and what they fight for, but I don't think that's a discussion that's meant for here. If it's gun rights or women's rights, then okay, but I don't think most people here believe in pro-Second Amendment or pro-gun rights, so I don't think that should be a conversation here.
Do you think that's ironic because we're talking about women's rights, but they leave out the most important right for a woman to defend themselves?
I think that women can defend themselves in other ways, and I don't think that's the most important thing when it comes to self-defense is the right to have a gun. I think there are way more other issues when it comes to women's rights that should be discussed here rather than a woman's right for the ownership of a gun.
Okay, so then what do you think is the most important thing to talk about today?
I think reproductive rights, I think the wage gap, I think the fact that there's not enough women in the government, the fact that there's not enough women represented even the media.
Okay.
So I think there's a lot more that should be discussed.
Very strongly about women's rights and, reproductive rights.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel strongly about women's gun rights?
Say that again?
Women's gun rights.
Do you feel like women should have gun rights over men? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm just asking if you care about women's gun rights.
I think guns shouldn't even be allowed in people's hands other than police force and military.
All right. Do you think there's a police brutality problem in America?
Yes. But it's more of a training and support issue that police are Sure.
Are you here marching in support of women making their own choices of how to defend themselves, firearms, knives, pepper spray? Are you marching in support of gun rights for women today?
Yeah, so we definitely, Pete and our group definitely believes in gun safety, that people should,
Gun rights.
Gun rights. So we definitely don't want anyone's guns rights to be taken away. Pete is definitely like a staunch defender of the Second Amendment, but in a sense that there need to be common sense gun laws, and that people should not feel worried whether they're at work or at home or at school, anywhere, about their body and the safety of them and the others around them. So protecting rights, but making sure that it's not infringing on other people's rights.
Are you guys here supporting women's rights today?
Absolutely.
Okay. When we talk about women's rights, we mean all of them, right? Women want all the rights all the time.
Yes.
Are you marching in support of women to have gun rights to choose whatever gun she wants to protect herself with?
I think we need much more gun control.
So you're not fighting for women's rights?
Yes, we need more control and regulation over guns.
Why would you want to regulate a woman's right?
A woman's right? It's people's right.
Yeah, to have firearms and defend themselves.
No, I think we need much more gun control.
I just thought you were here supporting women's rights is all. She's not here supporting women's rights. Talking about women's rights and human rights, are you ladies here marching in support of the right for women to defend themselves with firearms?
We are marching, I am marching to try to ensure that Trump doesn't get reelected. That's my primary cause.
I noticed you have a Moms Demand Action hat on, and that's in support of gun control, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, but you're fighting for women's rights.
Yeah, that and like gun violence and equal rights.
So how do we stand up for women's rights if we want to restrict their Second Amendment?
Go to your Senate and Congress people and tell them why, and see if they can do anything.
Right now, we're losing rights that many of us have spent 30 years working towards.
Well, when you say we're losing rights, we are losing our right to self-defense in this country. A lot of states are passing gun control. Are you here marching in support of women defending themselves with firearms?
Control march as well. I was there. I've been for it.
That's a woman's right to have a firearm.
It's a woman's right to have her children stay alive and not be assaulted in schools by firearms.
But you just said women having children is a burden to them.
It's also a choice. Don't you understand that?
You said to keep their children alive, but you just also advocated
they chose to
kill.
have. Don't you get that?
What's the difference? What's the difference?
Really? That's not very.
So she said she marched against gun rights, she marched for gun control because women want to protect their children, and then in the same breath said that we have to have the right to choose because her friends are still having to bear the cost of having children back when they were younger and they have never achieved their goals. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and support my work at patreon.com/CaitlinBennett. That's the way you can support my work directly. Or go to CaitlinBennett.org, check out our merchandise, our sales of the week, our shirts, supplements, everything. There's so many things you can get there to help support me.